Hello again, viewers, and greetings, fellow space travelers. This is Thorn of Night, and welcome to episode 28 of my bee breeding guide. In this episode, we're going to be going off to another Magic Bees branch off of the Veiled branch called Abominable. And Abominable is as bad as it sounds. The bees in this branch, one of which it comes from a hive out in the nether called Infernal. Uh, include the hateful, spiteful, and withering bees as well. And these are just generally nasty bees. If you're going to be working with them, I do recommend getting a full apiarist suit. If you don't know how to make one of those, I believe video 2 in this series covers that. I'm pretty sure it's 2, yes. But you're going to need it because they have some pretty nasty effects. But let's go ahead and cover this part here. First off, these are added by magic bees. They do prefer nether conditions. They can work in the desert, but it's easiest to work with them in the nether. Mostly because they do need nether wart. The different effects of some of these include, from the infernal bee, it's called aggression, and what that does is it damages all nearby entities. Everything in its territory can get damaged, whether it's a player or a mob. It doesn't really matter. It's just, here, have some damage. But wearing the bee suit will prevent that from happening. Next, we have the hateful and spiteful bees, which have the effect called ends, and what that does is it just simply damages nearby players. Other mobs are left alone. It's just the players. And lastly, we have the withering effect, which it comes from the withering bee, and it's basically just like if you got splashed with a withering potion or something. It darkens your vision, and it makes it so you can't tell how much health you have left, and you're taking damage also. Now, these guys live a while, and they have pretty large areas of their territory. And like you can see here, they are also nocturnal, so you can deal with them at night. They have a varying amount of productivity and life. Most of them are longer, or half of them are long lives. The other two are short, slow, normal, slow worker. So it's pretty all over the spectrum here. Now, the stuff that you can expect to get from these bees include this stuff called molten comb. And molten comb is pretty cool because you can get the honey drops and this refractory wax, which can be used for making refractory capsules. But also, the withering bee will give you these things called wither skeleton bone chips. 9 of these will give you a wither skeleton skull fragment, and 6 of these will give you a wither skeleton skull. So 54 will get you a wither skeleton skull. So you'll have to be working with them a while and dealing with that whole wither effect all the time, unless you're wearing a bee suit. So do keep a bee suit handy. Now, let's go take a look at the actual bees themselves in the Abominable Branch. And if you do want to examine these more closely in this map, I am making this map available for download, so you can wander around, look at all the different types of bee outputs and what's involved in making the bees and their conditions. For instance, this is in a hell biome. This is in Mistcraft. I have provided a bee suit for you just in case you don't have one or haven't spawned one when you go to work with these. The mod pack that this is, if you do choose to download this map, is called the Unleashed pack. It's part of Feed the Beast. If you don't know what Feed the Beast is, I recommend you go look at it. It is awesome and fun and wonderful and just a terrific mod pack series in general. Now, the Infernal bees come from a hive in the nether. Kind of hard to find. Usually they are surrounded by an enclosure of stone. You tend to not find them on the surface. They look like ardite. They're kind of yellowish in appearance, but they're pretty hard to get. You're going to have to probably dig around for them. And also, you're going to need for this first bee an eldritch line, which comes from the veiled branch. If you don't know how to do the veiled branch, or specifically the eldritch, you can either, if you've downloaded this, go to the veiled branch and look for yourself, or you can go watch my veiled video. But anyway, the first bee here is called the Hateful Bee. And the Hateful Bee, let's see here, that's an eldritch. I will need the eldritch to identify how long this took. Just one generation, okay. The Hateful Bee, like I said, has that ends effect, and the area is larger than normal. It's, I think, the second largest area, 13 by 12 by 13 here. Let's compare this to a purebred, and it looks like I got an actual purebred from that breeding. That's kind of weird, actually. But I will leave these in here for you to examine so you can get a better look at the stats and all that. And let's go ahead and look at the Hateful Bee. Like I said, it does require nether wart. Oops. But from one queen, you can expect to get 2 drones and about a molten comb, sometimes 2, but normally 1 per queen for its normal productive cycle. And that molten comb, a stack of it will get you 3/4 to a stack of refractory wax and almost no honey drops at all. You're basically going after the refractory wax here. Moving on to the next one, the Spiteful Bee. It requires the Hateful that you have over there and some Infernal from those hives. Still just as rare. And you'll get one of these Spiteful Bees eventually. And I got a princess, so I can just grab that. Let's see how long this took me. 5 generations. Now, it may take you more, it may take you less. This is all probability and chance and randomness. So there's no guarantee it's going to take you 5 generations to get that. But let's grab this one and see how close this is to purebred. Not even. But as you can also see, it has that larger area of effect. No real changes there. Same output. All right, I'll put these in here for you to look at. And let's look at the typical output for a queen running 1 cycle in the Spiteful line. You can expect to get 2 drones, and it looks like up to 2, probably maybe up to 3 of the molten comb there. And once again, almost a stack of the wax and very little of the honey drops. All right, and finally moving on to the Withering Bee. You're going to need a Spiteful Bee from over there and a Demonic Bee, which comes from the Infernal line. Once again, if you have this map, you can go look at it yourself, or you can go watch my Infernal video and figure out how to do that there. But let's see here. That's the Withering. Excellent. What are these? Those are Spitefuls. All right, so this guy took me 13 generations. Kind of hard to get. It's a little bit lower of a chance to get the Withering one. But once you do, you can start making Wither Skulls, so you can start making Withers. Getting those Nether Stars. Let's see here. Not even quite close to a purebred. Even some changes there. Oh, and they do work in caves, apparently. I forgot to mention that. I apologize. But the output here... Wow, this one has no normal output, but from the Demonic you can get its comb and the glowstone dust, it looks like. Yes. The simmering comb. Alright, I will leave these in here for you, and let's look at the typical output. You can expect to get a drone out of this, but you can get up to a couple of those wither, what's it called? Wither skeleton bone chip. And if you do get some of the comb, you can still see here it's low yield on the honey drops there. But the bees in this, I believe it's the withering. I want to say it's the withering. Go on to produce a bee in the skulking branch. So if you have this and come from the skulking branch, you can go back to what you were doing over there. But other than that, these really aren't used for much of anything except for just making your life a mess up until you get the withering bee. And these numbers, by the way, represent how far away they are from a hive bee. So the hive bee is 1, so eldritch is 4. So that's 5, 6, and 7. But the 7 requires 2 level 6 bees, so you're going to have to do a lot of breeding just to get to this withering one. That one takes a while. But I think that covers everything for this branch, so thank you very much for watching. I hope this was helpful and useful information for you. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please do leave them in the comment section below, and I will do my best to respond. If you like this video, please give it a like. I do appreciate that. And if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe so you know when my next stuff comes out. And that was a weird lag spike. But that is where I'm going to have to wrap up here. I'm lagging again. So thank you once again for watching. This is Thorn of Night, and I will talk to you later.